and you should have done. And it's going to be 8 points in that 10% category, and I know I will not let you make it up. So if we were to back up and summarize what we've been doing in case you've been asleep, we've been talking about quadratic functions. And at first we were talking about how to put them in our calculator and how to find things in our calculator. For instance, we found the min, the max, the axis of symmetry, the y-intercept, the range, that kind of thing. And I thought we had that down. And then we took that 4.1 quiz, and some people broke my heart. So for those of you who broke my heart and had no idea how to calculate, let's say, for instance, the min, I hope by now you figured it out, because your test is smart regardless, and part of your test is that stuff from 4.1. Okay, then after we spent a lot of time on that and tested on it and everything, we got on how to find x-intercepts, and we talked about how we could do this in our calculator. And your group can have a point if you can tell me how to find the x-intercepts using your graphing calculator. Okay, 4 and 5 can have a point in there. And then you're going to have to figure your life out. 4 and 5 get the point. So perfect. However, you're going to find an answer if there's one. You'll find 2 different answers if there's 2. There may be no answer whatsoever because it might not cross the x-axis. Okay, so we did this for a while, and you have to put it in standard form before you graph it. No big deal. That seemed to be good with everyone, and we did a checkpoint on that. Or something like that, and it seemed really good. Then we got to factoring. So, it's great that we can calculate these x-intercepts by hand, with a calculator, but we can also calculate them by hand. And we can calculate them by hand by factoring, and then setting each of our factors equal to 0. So part of your test tomorrow is just, can you factor, and then set each term equal to 0 and find those 2 x-intercepts. Now, no one ever takes this graphing calculator away from you. So could Ellie check herself every time? Like, she thinks she factored this correctly. She thinks the roots are 7 and -3. She could check. Was it really 7 and -3? And then she'll know. And then we got on complex numbers, which seems really far outfield. Because you're like, I don't see how this has to do with anything in life. But back to, there's this case of what if our quadratic function, the parabola, what if it doesn't cross the x-axis at all? And that's when we need complex numbers. So we did some basics for complex numbers last Wednesday. And then last Thursday, I didn't see your face. But you had a video to watch to finish up page 15 and page 16. Now, I'm pretty sure you're super smart, so you can probably handle everything on page 15 without watching the video. You might not need me to explain how to FOIL or any of those things. However, you do need to watch the video if you haven't already. When it comes to page 16, you want to divide by complex numbers, because it involves multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the complex conjugate. So if you don't know what words I'm saying, you've got to watch the video that I posted last Thursday. You had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You knew the test was Tuesday. I don't know why you postponed it. This is still going to make the test. You've got to know how to do conjugates. However, flip to page 17. On page 17, I have kind of a problem. I'm just going to lower mine down. I have kind of a problem because I forgot to work those 3 problems. So we're going to work those 3 really fast. I'm going to put a similar one on the board tomorrow, so you're not stressed about it, since we are doing it the day before the test. But seriously, it's just combining all the things we've done lately. Okay, so on number 13, what's the first thing I could do? Thank you, 5, get a point. If I factor out that 4, I'm left with x squared plus 1. I divide both sides by 4, I'll have x squared plus 1 equals 0. The 4 is gone away. And what will we normally do here? We are going to now, but what will we normally do here? Wouldn't we just quit? Because can you factor that? If it was x squared minus 1, it would be what? If it was x squared minus 1, it would be perfect squares, different perfect squares, and we could go, but because it's plus one, we can't go. We normally would quit, but thanks to complex numbers, we don't have to quit. So you can subtract 1 from both sides, and you'll have x squared equals negative 1. How do you kill off a squared? 2 can add the point. So you take the square root of both sides. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with x equals plus or minus the square root of negative 1. But what should I replace that square root of negative 1 with? 2 can add the point again. So it's x equals plus or minus I. Who else said it? Did you? Thank you, 5. You can add the point. Thank you, Dan, for being honest. So literally, we would have quit here before, but thanks to complex numbers, when we see that negative under the square root, that doesn't mean we're done. We can actually keep going now. So our second problem that we're going to do is x squared plus 64 equals 0. I subtract 64 from both sides, so I have x squared equals negative 64. I take the square root, I have x equals plus or minus that square root of negative 64. So what is my final answer? 2 can add the point. It ends up being plus or minus 8i. I know the square root of 64 is 8, and the square root of negative 1 is I, so it's square root of the square root of negative 64 is 8i. And for some reason I have 14 twice, so 14 take 2, 5y squared plus 20 equals 0. What should I do first on that one? Thank you, 4 and 5. Now, if you forgot GCF and you subtracted by 20 first, you're still going to end up with the right answer. But I like the fact that 4 and 5 are in that factoring mentality. I like it a lot. I divide by 5, 5 goes away, so I have y squared plus 4 equals 0. So I have y squared equals negative 4. So y equals plus or minus the square root of negative 4. So I get y equals what? Plus or minus what? 2i, yeah. So 4 and 2, and I'll get 5 a point as well. It's 2i. I know the square root of 4 is 2. Square root of negative 1 is I, so it's 2i. Again, I'm going to put one similar to this on the board tomorrow to try to help you out. Okay, flip to the next page. If you're good with that, flip to the next page. We're not doing a math workshop today because sadly the last two on the math workshop are out of our league at this current moment. We'll have to postpone those till Wednesday. The next page, page 19, is your study guide. Your study guide has a lot of problems. Let's reduce it a little and discuss what we're needing for each thing. Okay, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 do the normal thing of use your calculator, find maximum, find domain range, find anything else it says. The first one I want to talk about specifically is 7 and 8. It says solve each quadratic equation. What they mean is find the x-intercepts. Now you're going to have to put it in standard form and then graph it. But use your calculator to find the x-intercepts. We're going to get rid of 9, 10, and 11. We're only going to do factoring when it's got an exponent of 2. Flip to the back. The factoring ones, you're going to have to put in standard form and solve. They're really pretty fast, except for there is like one, like 14, that I had to think through and I did guess and check. But besides that, for the most part, it's pretty fast. 20 through 29, if you've not watched the complex numbers video, then you are in trouble. You might be able to wing it all the way through 27, but there's no way you can handle 28, 29, and if you know it, if it makes a study guide, it means it's making the test. 30 and 31 are what we just did on page 17. Just did. There are none like this on the test, but there will be some in the future. So I want you to do them, but I want you to realize, P.S., I don't think they're on the test. If they are on the test, Lord knows I'm going to put like the nicest example ever up here, so there's no way you can miss it. If you want to skip 32, you can. I'm going to say 32 is a bonus. 32 is not difficult, but it requires patience. Here, I'll show you. Here's the graph of 32, but if you think it was easy to get, it wasn't. I had to zoom out like 5 times to manually make it not look like a straight line. So if you have patience, 32 is really easy, because now that I can see the max, I can do my second calculate and find that number. But getting it to look like this took a little bit of patience. So I hated to, you already had enough to do. I hated to say you had to be patient on 32. If I were you, I would put a star by 33. Heck, I might even start on 33 today. If I were working it, I might work backwards. I'm telling you, 33, there's a similar one on the test. I think they might have changed the numbers from like 4 to 8, or there might be a little bit of difference, but 33 is on the test. Okay, are there any major questions someone wants to ask me before they get working? Okay, if you need help with something, I will gladly help you. Otherwise, I assume you just need time, because there's about 30 questions you need to handle, and that takes time.
On the notes, you did take our homework, right?